Hello students, here's a quick video guide for a discussion board, and we are focusing on compare and contrast, and as always you'll find everything you need in the appropriate folder. So go to compare and contrast. There are 3 pieces here, but we're really only focusing on the first 2. These are 2 essays that use compare and contrast as their main mode of discourse. And then you have the video guide, how to embed evidence, and an outline, and a works cited page. And also the essay prompt is in here as well. So the first thing I want to point out is the outline here. And then this is like several little outlines which will help with the essay. But there's 2 ways to organize the compare and contrast paper. The first one is a subject by subject comparison. This is probably the easiest way, and what happens in this type of essay, the subject 1 is in 1 paragraph all by itself, and the focus is just on that one subject. It is broken down by qualities, certain elements or characteristics, and then subject 2 is on the second topic, and so really it's just an easier structure where you focus on one subject at a time. Okay, the other way to organize an essay is a point-by-point comparison. And so you focus on the quality and you compare and contrast the subjects within the same paragraph. And so there's this back and forth between subject 1 does this while subject 2 does this. And so that is another way to organize a compare and contrast essay. Now, if you look at our 2 sources, one of them, the difference between sick and evil, he does the, this one. He does a point-by-point comparison. It's back and forth between sick and evil. And so read this and see how he structures his essay and keep that in mind when you're writing. And so if you look at this passage, he is talking about people who hurt children and how a lot of us just say that's sick. And he is trying to argue that that term is not correct. And here's why it's not correct. And he breaks it down. He says sickness is a condition. Evil is a behavior. Evil is a choice. It is a conduct. Okay? And then he says just as evil is always a choice, sickness is always the absence of choice. Sickness happens, evil is inflicted. And so as you can tell right here, he is doing this kind of structure right here. Okay, point by point, back and forth, back and forth. He does talk. The points are the same, the topics are the same, or the qualities are the same, but it's just sickness is this, evil is this. Okay. The other essay that is your model piece, she is comparing neat people to sloppy people, and she does it subject by subject. Okay. This is her structure right here. She spends the first few paragraphs talking about sloppy people and the next few paragraphs talking about neat people. Okay, and so that is a good option to look at. You can see right here, she's describing sloppy people, how they deal with their books, how they deal with their clothes, how they deal with family mementos and photographs and everything like that, and the mail. And then you get to neat people, and she does address the similar things, how the neat people deal with the mail and the neat people deal with their clothes and mementos. And so the topics are similar. She just organizes it this way. This is probably the easier structure, but it really depends on what you're talking about and how you want to do it. Both are perfect options. Okay, now for the assignment, the discussion board, you have 4 options. One of them is you read the sloppy versus neat, and you look at the 2 definitions, and you get the characteristics in your mind. So like sloppy people are, procrastinators and warm-hearted and very attached to things. While neat people are, she describes them almost as cold-hearted and unattached. And so, but read the response and work out her definitions of these 2 terms. And then your prompt is you will decide whether your behavior is You will compare and contrast it to her definitions. Are you more neat? Or are you sloppy? Or do you have some sloppy qualities and some neat qualities? Did Britt not do a proper definition? Did she leave some terms out? And so that's what you would write about. Okay. In option 2, he's defining these two terms that are kind of closely related. But he is looking at the little minor elements that distinguish the two of them. And so you would do the same thing. And these terms are closely related: weird, eccentric, love, passion, devotion, obsession, ignorant, stupid. And so you will break them into the differences or the similarities. Okay, what's the difference between weird and eccentric? Okay, option 3 is probably the easiest one because you're contrasting and comparing concrete items. You're comparing and contrasting dog ownership versus cat ownership, print versus electronic media, economy versus luxury car, high school teacher versus a college professor. And so those are concrete things, and you can break it into the parts. Like if I'm going to compare dog versus cat, I might talk about companionship. Which one's a better companion? Okay, I might talk about expense. Which one is more expensive to own? Responsibilities. Which one's easier to take care of? And so I have my categories, right? I have these, my qualities that I'm going to talk about: companionship, expense, easier. And then I can do it this way. I can have one paragraph about dogs and talk about those 3 things. My second paragraph about cats and talk about those 3 things. Okay, or companionship, dog, cat. Expense, dog, cat. Responsibility or time, dog, cat. Okay, so, and this would apply to any subject that you want to discuss. Pick one of these structures and experiment with it. And that is your discussion. Oh, you still have option 4 is where you compare and contrast the attitudes of students who have to work to finance their education versus those who do not. Okay, that's it. Good luck.